Hey there, hola, ¿cómo estás, friends and amigos, compañeros del mundo? It's the one and only, your friend Yaofusu, the original Globe Master. Now, today, I'm going to show some pictures, throwback pictures, of the very first time I took a trip to Asia, to the Philippines, to visit my wife, who was my girlfriend at that time, and her family. So I met this woman in 2014. Got serious with her due to some circumstances. She had to go back to her country. So I decided, you know what? I'm gonna take the challenge. She gave me an invite to come visit her, and I took on the challenge to do it. So bear with me. I'm gonna go through some pictures and see or do the best I can. So the day before I left for the Philippines, I took this picture out of my bedroom window. This is my fire escape. And as you can see, typical snowy winter morning in New York. So at that time, my kids were still, my daughter was like a teenager, but my son was still pretty much like a kid. So here's a picture of my son and my daughter. This got nothing to do with the story anyway, but I'm gonna put it in there. They were shoveling snow and cleaning my car the day before I left. So anyway, I booked a ticket, took on the challenge, and wham, before I knew it, I was on a flight to Japan, ANA. I booked a flight with ANA of Japan, Inspiration of Japan. Took the flight, very first long haul flight. Took off on a cold, snowy winter morning here in New York. As they say, flew overseas. And made my way to the Philippines through Japan. 14 hours from New York to Tokyo, Narita, and then another 4.5, almost 5 hours from Tokyo to Manila. And this is the very first picture I took as I was walking out the terminal, as my girl was waiting for me. It's 2014. So, of course, the family, they took me home. Ate foods I've never eaten before. And of course, when you haven't seen somebody in a long time, you know what goes down. The whole night was nothing but to the break of dawn, if you know what I mean. So the next day, she decided to take me around a small town, show me around, and introduce me to her family and extended family and all kinds of things, right? It's the first time I ever ate pancit, a Filipino dish, my favorite dish in the Philippines, called pancit. Over here, we went to her mother's house. Lovely mother. Let me see if I can find another picture. Let me see. Oh, I took this picture here. Now, this picture here, I took this picture here at Tokyo Narita Airport. Now, I don't know if this China baby is Japanese or Chinese or whatever, but this child couldn't keep, I don't even know if it's a he or she, to be honest, but this child couldn't keep, let's say it's a she, because I see some pink in there. This child couldn't keep her eyes off of me for about a whole hour. And as you can see in this picture here, the mother is doing whatever she can to turn the baby's attention from me. I'm pretty sure I was the first black person this child has ever seen. And this child could not keep her eyes off of me. Anyway, let me get back into my story. So, my girl, it's a picture I took of her in her house, you know, in her little house, beautiful. She decided to show me a good time, you know, show me around her small town. And introduce me to people. Took me to a Catholic cathedral. By the way, Filipinos are majority Catholics. There's a Catholic cathedral in her small town. So the next day, she decided she's gonna take me to visit her father's village. Anyway, this is a picture of me, my wife, her mother on the left in pink top, and her older sister in the yellow. She's a beautiful girl herself too. So, like I was saying, she decided to take me to a rice growing village where her father comes from, right? So we her sister actually tagged along, and we went to her father's village. But the funny thing is, before we went to her father's village, she told me this. She said, "Look here, Dad. Now, we're going to a rice growing village. Now, this is a very rural area, and majority of the people, they have never even seen a foreigner, yet a black man. So I want you to know that you are gonna get stared at. People are gonna look at you." So I said, "Bring it on." I was ready for an adventure anyway. So We went on about an hour or so drive to her father's village in the province. And let me tell you something. When we got to the village, it's like, if you could see in the background, just a few people, like, you know, retirees and a few people that were there. Majority of the people in the village, they were working on the rice field. Right? So there was this kid, I can still remember to today. There was this kid, yes, let me see if I can find a picture of him. If you can see that kid in the yellow bandana, he ran into the rice field and called everybody's, and basically he was telling them, there's a foreigner here and he's a black guy. And if you could see in the picture, people were coming out of nowhere just to come take a look at me. Right? People were looking at me like, let me see if I could show some of the pictures. Like, yeah, like this one here. Especially the children. They were looking at me like they seen an alien. And in those days, all I had with me was just my camera, because in those days I wasn't into, I have never even thought about making a YouTube channel or nothing like that. So I just used to carry my cameras every time I travel. So I started taking pictures. Look at these children. They were looking at me like they have never seen a black man. And to be honest, they have never seen a black person. So I was the first for them. Now, the Philippines is how can I say it? It's a beautiful country. You know, you see things that you won't see here. It's the very first time I saw this here, ladies and gentlemen, is called a jeepney. A jeepney. And when I saw one with New York written on it, I said, you know what, let me take a picture with this thing. Right? This here is another form of transportation. This here is called a tricycle. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this mean little machine right here, I done seen a tricycle carrying up to 13 people. Listen, I didn't even know that motorcycles can be strong enough to carry up to 13 people, including the sidecar. But in the Philippines, they make it work. They make it work, man. This picture here, I took this picture here in the mall, in my wife's small town. Now listen, the Philippines malls put American malls to shame. Now I took this picture here because this little girl, if you can see in the picture, she's a twin. The twin sister is walking and the father is carrying like another baby. Now, this girl saw me and pretty much just froze. She just stood there looking at me while her family kept on walking. So I took out my camera and I snapped a picture of her. And I'm telling you, her family got all the way down to like the next column before they noticed the girl was still standing there looking at me. And then the father called her to join the family. Now this is my wife 10 years ago, looking like a freaking Hawaiian. She's a beautiful girl with a big forehead. This here is a picture I took of this house, this beautiful house. I mean, they have beautiful houses in the Philippines, but I took this picture because this house here, the color combination was just sick to me. Oh, this is a picture of me and my wife. I picked her up. This is not even supposed to be here right now. Let me see. What else can I find? Another picture of my wife, her older sister, and her mother. Anytime we go to her mom's house to visit, we take pictures. This is another picture of my wife. Now, one thing I gotta say about the Philippines is the women know how to carry themselves as women. They take pride in dolling themselves out, to be feminine. You're not gonna see some woman like here in New York wearing Timberlands and freaking crazy crap looking like men. They take pride in being feminine. All these pictures, ladies and gentlemen, are from 2015. And sometimes we'll go to like the countryside, so I could take pictures with. That's a cow in the background over there. They call it carabao or whatever. You could see it's dung. I was trying not to step on cow dung over there. I took this picture here with some kids that were doing acrobatics on the rice field. And I thought I still had it. I was 40 years old. I thought I still had it. But those kids let me know. I mean, they showed me that woo, I was an old man already. The things I used to play soccer, so I thought I could keep up with them. Turns out I couldn't. Here's another picture of my wife when she dolls up. Women over there take pride in dressing up, looking good for their men. Not like here. Here's my wife again. Let me see if I can find another picture. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one thing you see a lot in the Philippines. This is my wife. I could say about 90% of Filipino women, when they get dressed up and they're walking around, they are carrying a bag simply because they have an umbrella and a few other things inside. The umbrella is very important. Why? Because they hate the sun. Now, my wife, if she stay in the sun for a little bit, she get this bronze, beautiful color, but she hates it, and I love it. But I don't know, man. They just don't like walking in the sun. So I could say about 90 to 99% of Filipino women in the Philippines walk around with an umbrella in their bag, not for rain, but to protect your skin from the sun. Here's another picture of me and her. Another picture of her. Let me see. Please bear with me because these pictures are not in order. They are not in order, so I'm just going through whatever I could go through. Come on, let me see. Where are the pictures? Come on, come on. Come on. Here's a picture. Here's another picture. This actually was when I was about to come back. I was about to come back to New York. They came with me to Manila to send me off. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but my wife's sister, I think yellow is her favorite color or something because every picture you see her, she's wearing yellow. So I think that's her. And she's a very beautiful woman herself too. Okay. Let me see if I can find other pictures. Yeah, this picture here. That's how I said goodbye to my wife before I left. I picked her up and kissed her on the punani. Mwah! Anyway, let me stop being crazy. So I'm gonna end this video with this picture. Right? This is just a few pictures from the very first time I went to the Philippines. Now I have been there over 20 times since the first time I went there. And we've also traveled to many different places. Been to, we done traveled to Malaysia, traveled to Singapore. You know what? I will probably make another video of our trip to Singapore and share with you guys too. Right? So the name is Yao Fusu, the original Globe Master. I'm gonna end this video by showing her big forehead and other big things, and say good night, cheese ears, and God bless. Take care.